So we have a big day in horse racing at Louisiana Downs this weekend, and who better to come on and talk it over than Gino at It's Me Gino B on Twitter. How you doing today, my man?
Doing well, buddy. Thanks so much for talking some Louisiana with us. I'm actually this year working with Louisiana, so I do the broadcast before and after the races. If you ever watch the feed or if you're ever like at the sports book playing, you'll see my picks come up there, and I'm the one that kind of sets up the 5 minutes before, and after each race, kind of talks about everything. So what's pretty cool, I've watched every race throughout the meet at Louisiana so far this year. I've probably bet on pretty close to all of them, and this is by far the biggest day. And what's cool is not only are some of the best horses running, the best Louisiana bred horses, but the betting, the fields, races 2 through 7 are all stakes races. So there's 6 of them. Every one of those has at least a field of 8, between 8 and 12. So the pick 4s, 5s, 6, those are going to be really tough, and they're going to pay really, really well.
Yeah, which is good, which is great. And isn't their takeout a little bit lower?
It's lower. They moved their takeout lower this year. So the pick 4 and the pick 5 is 15%. So pick 5 starts in race 3. Pick 4 starts in race 4. They have a jackpot for the pick 6. If you like to play those, that's a 20-cent base. You can play that in race number 2.
Is that a mandatory, since this is their big day, is that a mandatory payout?
Not yet. They're going to keep it building because I think it's still got a little while to go before it's up to about 15,000 or so, okay. But we'll have it build a little bit bigger before they put the mandatory up. But there's a pick 5, small pick 5 carryover. So there'll be an extra, I think, 3,500, 3,000 plus in the pick 5 pool, along with that low takeout. And that'll be all stakes races. So yeah, in the 6 stakes, 60 horses total, which that's going to be really fun for us as really bettors.
Good. Yeah, that's really good. And I live in the Chicagoland area. I miss Arlington. I miss those days. I miss
those big turf races like that where there were 10, 11 horses. Because even now when we see good racing at Saratoga or Belmont or Santa Anita or Del Mar, the field sizes still will be small and a lot of times 5, 6, 7 horse field. So it's cool to see a big day and a good opportunity for us to make some money too. And that's key. I'm not going to come here and just preview the day without giving us a couple horses that we can bet on, right?
Oh yeah, you got to get that money. You got to get some money. So the first race we're going to go to is race 4. Who do you like in race 4?
Yep, important race because this one kicks off the pick 4. A lot of people love to play the pick 4. They have a 50-cent base that you can play. So this field is a sprint race. It's for fillies and mares. They have a field of 11 sprinting 6 furlongs, and there are a ton of quick horses in here. But I want to mention 2 for people that play the pick 4s, or if you're looking to maybe play this race individually, we can monitor the prices on them and maybe get an idea. The 2 horses to the outside, both the number 10 and the number 11. First up, the 10 is Drop Dead Sexy. Your trainer of this horse is Shane Wilson. He's the leading trainer. I had an interview with him a few weeks ago. This guy is sharp. When you hear a coach talk, if you're a fan of football or basketball, you can just tell instantly within the first few seconds.
Basically, he's the opposite of Mike McCarthy.
Exactly. You can tell this guy totally opposite of McCarthy. He runs a tight ship. He's paying attention to everything, and they're always looking for ways that they can maybe fix horses or figure things out and get the best out of them. Well, Drop Dead Sexy, you'll notice he had a bad start 3 races back on May the 14th, and since then, he has had 2 monster wins. I think the real key with her, she's a 3-year-old filly, is that she is very fast, but she can go really fast and clear the field. She just kind of has to get out in front of everybody. She doesn't really do as well if she's behind or if she has to deal with some other pressure. She can go fast and get out front. So if she breaks well and she gets a little bit of clearance on this field, she could very easily steal this race. She's 12-1 on the morning line. She's won twice here at Louisiana Downs. She has the leading trainer and the second leading rider. She's won 2 races in a row. And if you're just looking at her speed figures, they're all really comparable to what it would take to win this race. So she is right there with a good start and just hoping that she doesn't get a ton of other pressure on the front end.
So what is your point where you won't, like, if it dips down to what, 5-1, 6-1?
5, 6. My line for her is 6, and she's 12. So that it's just like anything with any number. If you like a horse, or if you look at a horse and they're 5-1 and you think they should be 5-1, I'm probably not going to go get in line to bet them, right? We're as bettors looking for anything that's a little bit off, any numbers that we feel we have an advantage of. So I've got her in this wide open race, like a 6-1 shot, really like 5-6-1. If she's anything in that range or over, I think she's worthy of a win wager. If you're playing any sort of pick 4s or pick 5s like that, make sure to throw her in, because if she's on the lead, she's going to make you really nervous if you don't have her. Then right to her outside, there's the 11 Strong Beauty. She can sit a little bit, and that may put her in a perfect spot. She has enough speed where she can stay within striking range and then sit 3rd or 4th. Her last race, she finished 4th. She was behind a couple of the same horses in this race. She had a little bit of a troubled trip. She drew the inside. So she was on the rail last time. Now she's on the way outside. When you draw the inside, you're kind of forced. You're at the mercy of what everybody else is doing. And so if a couple other horses are also quick, you are forced to go fast or then take back. Then you're sort of in traffic. When you're on the outside, you can just kind of sit off of horses, and it's a little more clear. You actually dictate the way you want to run your race. Yeah. I think it's a great spot for her. She's been in 5 stakes races overall before. She actually won this race last year, back in August of 2021, when she kind of sat the trip that I'm hoping she's going to sit in here. And if you just put a line through her turf race overall, she has excellent form. She's won both of her starts at Louisiana. I think she's in a great spot. So I'm definitely going to be using the 10 and 11. A lot of exotics in the pick 4s and 5s. I probably look to bet the 10 Drop Dead Sexy to win a little more. Strong Beauty's line for me was like 7-2. If she's over that, I think that's fair value if you're looking to play her, but they're both must uses. I may play some exactas with the 2 of them also, but just horses that I'll be using all over the place.
So would you box those in exactas?
Yeah, in that case, I would box them because I do think, to me, they're both similar, like A-type horses. I think for me, they're both on my top tier. So I don't mind boxing them. Once I play exactas or tries with multiple horses underneath, I would start not boxing them, and I would pick maybe one horse to use on top or play them a little. But in this case, with 2 horses like this in a wide open race, I don't mind boxing the 2 of them because I do feel like they're both pretty equal in their chances of winning.
And then you also liked some horses in race 7.
Yeah.
The sprint.
Yep. Let's try to get to the closeout race. So how would you feel if you're, in the pick 4 or pick 5, you're 3 for 3 or 4 for 4, you get to the 7th race, you're alive, you're closing. There's 11 horses in this race. It's another sprint. The favorite is 3-1 in this race. And there are 15-1 shots that have a legitimate chance. There are going to be a bunch of 5, 6.
It's a huge betting opportunity.
Great betting opportunity. There are so many ways to go. And I thought there were a couple horses to look at. And in particular, the 3-horse Black Sword is 15-1 on the morning line. Vicente Del Cid is an apprentice jockey. He's the leading rider at Evangeline, and he is really, really impressive. He's in the top 5 at Louisiana, and the only reason why he's not higher is because he doesn't ride as many races at Louisiana as he does at Evangeline, but his percentage... Yeah, well, his percentages are awesome. He's one of the top winning percentage riders. He just goes back and forth a lot between Louisiana and Evangeline. He rides for top trainers all the time. Black Sword on June the 4th was in a race that was kind of like this field. He was against Creole Charlie and Takes 2 to Tango and a lot of these same horses that are in this race. And Black Sword, sort of exactly like the trip we were talking about in the other race, he drew the rail. And he was close to the front, but a couple horses to the outside were quick, and it put him behind. And then he got shuffled back. All of a sudden, he went from being on the lead to 4th. And that's the difference between winning and losing when you just get shuffled a couple positions and you end up losing your spot a little bit. I think he can sit more in here. There's a lot of speed, so I think he'll just take back a bit more. On April the 27th, the second start back, we actually saw that type of trip where he sat about 3 or 4 lengths off and moved to it. He is 15-1. Same thing. If you're playing pick 4s, pick 5s, use him. I had him stacked like 8-1. So if he's anything 8 or over, I'll be making a win wager on him for sure. And I'll use him with the horse to the way outside, who's also 15-1, Yankee 7. So 2 horses in this race that are 15-1 that are going to be in my pick 4s, in my pick 5s. This is a day that could be a really, really big day. It's fun, big betting races. Yankee 7 actually back in April and in March, just earlier this year, has some of the best races on the page and some of the better speed figures. He just has a couple races recently where he's thrown in a couple clunkers. One of them was on the grass. He's certainly capable of better. And yeah, he's a fun horse to throw in your pick 4. So we're coming swinging at least. I've been awful on your Tuesday shows, man. So far, my horses have been getting in some trouble. They're not running as well. Hopefully we can connect one for you today.
So one quick question though, because when you were on for the Derby, you talked about how if you like a horse, you play him 1 under everybody.
This would be
would this be a race when you do that because the price is so high?
Absolutely. It's in particular, like in the 7th race and even earlier with the bigger price. In the last race, we could play one where you go all over 311 and then another one where you go 311 overall. So that way, if either one of these horses win, you hit the exacta. If either one of these horses run second, you hit the exacta, and it's going to pay great with a double-digit horse in it either way. So you give yourself a couple different opportunities. That's a good question, and that's not a bad approach at all with horses that are big prices like this. Absolutely.
I mean, because my buddy Dan, he's your number 1 fan because
that's my guy, Danny K, right?
Danny K with that advice you gave at the Derby. So he is always appreciative of you. Gino, why don't you tell everyone where they can find you on social media and everything?
Yep, it's me, Gino B, is where you can find me on Twitter. I do a lot of my work on there. I'm trying to get more active on Instagram over there too, because Eric is always nudging me to do so. He's better on Instagram than I am. You can follow me on there at Gino Buccola. And for Louisiana Downs, if you're ever looking to play the races, they run on Monday, Tuesday, and then on Saturday and on Sunday. So they run 4 days of the week. They have 7 race cards every time that they run. And I'm always out there on their broadcast before and after. So if you're ever looking for some action, if you want to reach out to me, I'll let you know some of my best bets. I try to be active and post on Twitter as well. And looking forward to
have that contest where
Mondays and Tuesdays.
If you retweet and you're following you and Louisiana Downs, you put the bet. I think it's
best bet in the pick 4. Yep. Races 4 through 7 is always the pick 4. So if every Monday and Tuesday, we give away 2 $20 win bets. Some weeks you're in between paychecks, right? Or maybe you had a bad week gambling, so you don't have a whole lot of money in the account until next week. Hey, come on over on Monday and Tuesday. You can get a free roll. And it's not like a contest where you sign up and there's a million people that enter. We get, whoever's following along on Twitter on Mondays and Tuesdays. So sometimes there's 20, 30 people. Sometimes there's not even. Sometimes there's 15. You could have a legitimate shot to get, a $20 win bet. And then you put $20 to win on a 5-to-1 shot. Boom. All of a sudden you got $100 coming right back to you for nothing.
Boom. Wham, bam. So
right.
Definitely a good contest. I always try to do it. I told my buddy Dan about it. I think he's going to start doing it. So make sure you give Gino a follow. He'll be improve his Instagram game. I promise. And we'll talk soon, my man.
Awesome. Thank you so much, buddy. And good luck everyone out there. Thanks again. And tune into Louisiana on Saturday. It's going to be the best day of their meet all year long.